Well, we have quite the active period set up over the next several hours, the next couple of days, but we do have nicer weather on the back end of that. So just hang with me here and we'll get through all of that. First, I want to talk about this cloud deck that we've seen that's pretty much straddled right along I-45 here from Dallas down through Ellis and Navarro counties all the way down into Houston there. And yes, you can see off to the west, yeah, there's quite a bit of energy coming in. That is part of the disturbance that will bring storms tonight. I do think that that cloud deck, though, affects our temperatures today. Just ignore the normal low here. Should be a normal high of 66 degrees. Either way, we're going to be above that though. 76 for Waxahachie, I think a couple of degrees warmer than that in Corsicana, and closer to 80 in our western counties where that cloud deck hasn't really been hanging around as long and there's a lot more sun going in out there. So I think we'll see those differences. And then tonight, I think most of us are in the low 60s, could be some of our 50s out there, but I do think that the cloud cover will help us to hold in some of that daytime heating. And so that will be what we're watching overnight. Unfortunately for the allergy sufferers, the pollen count remains high here, so I think that's pretty much going to stay the same. We might get a little bit of help with that as the nicer weather sets in next week. We get some north winds in here, but overall, hey, it's spring, and we're going to be dealing with allergy and pollens and those kind of things throughout the rest of that period. And hey, we're looking at a drier summer, so it'll probably be better then, but that just brings in a whole new host of problems. So let's get into what we're looking at today. And this system brought in the nicer, cooler air yesterday. We had that brief shift to north winds, but we're bringing those southerly winds back here as that warm front lifts north, and that's bringing in the moisture and the humid air and the unstable air just in time for a disturbance to arrive from the west that will bring a chance of storms tonight and will be rolling right into storms possible tomorrow as this system moves closer in. This will bring nicer weather. We will get a shot of cooler air, more stable air. High pressure will take over, but not until we get through some of these stormy periods that we have ahead of us. Unfortunately, those periods do include the possibility of some severe weather for tonight, mostly to our west, really from 35 on westward for at least our area. And what we're going to see, is a system, a cluster of storms, I would say, develop to our west and then track on to the east, should move into our area later tonight. And then as we go into tomorrow, a slight risk, which is not that abnormal for this time of year, a slight risk across the area and primarily right now, we're looking at a large hail damaging wind threat. We were talking about an isolated tornado threat, but it looks like that might be mitigated here. I think part of that is the fact that it's going to be more widespread activity. Really, that's something I've been thinking about this whole time, kind of had in the back of my head. And then we will actually see probably this occurring more later in the evening, at least the highest risk overnight. So that takes away some of that too. And then the storms that we will see ahead of it could possibly help to stabilize the air ahead of that. So different factors that have not only made this hard to forecast, but could be working in our favor a little bit. As we get into Friday morning, it's pretty much a continuation of this slight risk, only farther east. So we'll get into all the timing here for you because I know that that's what you're looking for. And we're going to go all the way to early Friday morning. So stick with me here. And this is about 6 o'clock this evening. We should start to see that complex developing. And then that's going to, I'm not really sure what it's showing here. It shows this mostly falling apart. There may be a recycling period here, but I do think we start to see more widespread activity in our area, especially before midnight here. It shows most of it off to the west. This is the HR model. Not really totally sure what it's showing here, but it does show a few specks here and there, most of that to our west. And then when you get to 6 a.m., we jump ahead. There you can see a lot more activity, especially to our west and to our north. And then throughout the day, we'll see that activity become more widespread. So our particular area, we may get a break tomorrow morning, at least in the first part of the morning, because by the time we get to 10 a.m., we start to see a line developing to our west, and that will be moving our direction down near San Angelo and Abilene. And if this comes true, remember, this is a model. This is an estimation of what is going to look like, but there could be more individual cells back to the west, which that could be a problem out there. But for our particular area, more organized activity, and then by noon, most of that should be spreading into our area, and by 2 o'clock, that should be continuing there. Again, we could see severe weather in this complex. I'm not saying that the only chance is tomorrow night, could be strong to a few severe storms in this complex. By 5 o'clock tomorrow, you see the first complex moving out. Again, it looks like this is going to be from really late morning all the way through most of the day tomorrow. That first batch moves out. We'll be watching to see if this second batch develops farther to the west tomorrow evening. That could move in, and you see more individual storms here. That could be an indication of another chance of seeing some severe weather with all of this. Really, again, any of this could bring some severe weather. And then 11 o'clock, most of that is headed out. And then by 2 a.m. off to our west, we're seeing more development. Now, like I say, this could be the round that could bring the more concentrated severe weather for our area. And I'm not sure if this is necessarily going to be accurate or not, where we have one to our west and one to our south. But the HR model has been pretty straightforward and pretty to the point recently, and it's done a fairly decent job of showing how things were going to play out. And then as we get through 6 a.m. Friday, we have that round moving into our area. And so as we continue on, though, through the rest of the morning, my hope is that maybe we can get this stuff out of here by the time we get to 8 a.m., 9 a.m. But stay tuned. We'll continue to monitor that for you. We have some new data coming in actually right around now. So I'll be checking that and posting updates this evening. So yes, tonight, another chance for storms. Of course, the winds, we do have the wind shifting here from south to north, or from north to south. That should be flipped there. I think that's left over from yesterday, but the 30% chance of storms later tonight. We should be able to avoid that. I think some of us do hit 80, especially in our western counties, eastern counties along I-35E though, around 45, a little bit cooler. Overnight tonight, right around 60. Tomorrow, cloudy and stormy. It's just going to be rounds of storms tomorrow, some of which could be strong to severe. Gusty south winds, and breezy south winds, I'd say. And then again, tomorrow night, lows about the same. Friday, earlier in the day, the showers and thunderstorms will persist into the morning. I'm hoping, I'm not sure yet, but I'm hoping maybe we'll get through those at very least before noon. Get those out of here. Wind shift to the west behind the dry line and things clear out. And then late Friday into early Saturday, that cold front comes in, lows in the 40s. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're in the 60s. Saturday could be a little bit chilly with that breezy northwest wind, those gusts up to 20 miles per hour. So could be a little bit of a chilly afternoon Saturday, but we should have some sun to help keep us warm. Could be a light frost for some Saturday night with temperatures in the upper 30s if you're one of those low-lying areas. Could be a little bit colder. And then mid-60s Sunday, 40s overnight. And then next week, we're right back in the 70s. So pleasant weather to go, but unfortunately before that, we've got some stormy times ahead. So stay tuned to South Metro Weather for more updates on timing, as well as that severe weather risk over the next couple of days.